In this video, we are going to break down my completely overdone Daniel Defense PCC. I will say though, the first time shooting this thing, I was extremely impressed and super happy with it, and adding some of the mods I did really just made it super fun to build and to shoot. Did I add some things that probably didn't need to be added? Of course I did, but it looks cool and I love it, so I'm leaving it. If you aren't already a member of the kit page where I provide discount codes and links to everything I talk about on the channel, make sure you check out my website linked below. I know you guys instantly skip while I talk about the channel sponsors, but I want you guys to know how much I appreciate them, so I have exclusive codes for them on my website as well. The codes that I share on the channel specifically usually aren't as big of a discount, so make sure you check out my website. I did as much as I could to make it as valuable as possible for you. And an extra special thanks to Optics Planet for providing many of the parts for this build, as well as the ammo, which made the intro and training possible. Regardless, thank you for supporting for free by watching, subscribing, and liking this video. Make sure you're signed up for this month's range day. Details are linked below. Moving on to the full disclosure, Daniel Defense did send this PCC out to me for free for this review, so thank you, Daniel Defense. As always, I don't have any contracts in place or anything that requires me to leave a positive review. I'm happy to share all my honest thoughts, but as I go through the build, just keep in mind that it was free. I will say though, right off the bat, if they didn't send this over to me, I would have bought it anyway. So jumping right in, starting with the base, we of course have the Daniel PCC pistol, which originally out of the box will look something more like this. I did immediately switch the grip, pistol brace, and muzzle device as I was trying to decide which direction to go with it, and I ended up with this. It now of course looks a lot beefier, which has its pros and cons. Anyway, the base PCC in and of itself is a fantastic rifle. Even out of the box, it was just so much fun to shoot. I honestly think if you're just looking for a solid PCC that you don't want to modify much and have an awesome time shooting, this is absolutely a great option for you. This is the kind of gun I would let a beginner shoot first to get them comfortable shooting before moving to ARs. It's also the perfect girlfriend or mom gun. It's something anybody can shoot and enjoy, and that's just the practical side of me wanting people to have a good time at the range so they want to come back and train more. But anyway, it's a great rifle out of the box. The stock trigger was pretty good. The barrel is high quality and cold hammer forged, as you would expect from a Daniel Defense. The ambi controls are actually fantastic. They went with CZ mags, which was a good idea, and overall aesthetically, they nailed it. Now, the first things I would switch out if you bought this are number one, the safety selector. Get a Radiant Talon in there as soon as you can. That will make one of the biggest differences with how it feels to train with and manipulate this thing. The next thing would be the grip, only because I'm not the biggest fan of the Daniel Defense grip. They aren't really bad, but there's just better options out there. The next thing would be to suppress it as soon as you can, because that just makes shooting it that much better. And if you're able to do all of those, you will have a pretty much perfect setup that I'm sure you'll love for years to come. I, on the other hand, went a little overboard with the setup, but let's just jump into the build and go over the what and why. Starting with the suppressor I chose, which is the Silencer Co. Spectre 9 attached via their 3-lug muzzle device. I can't even tell you how big of a fan I am of this can. It's so extremely light yet effective at flash mitigation and sound suppression. It's as strong, if not stronger, than their Omega 9K, which is an extremely cool can I have as well. The signature reduction overall is incredible. The 3-lug quick detach is amazing. If I want to run the can, I can throw it on in 1 second, which sadly I'm not allowed to show here, but it's just really cool, and just trust me, this is the way to go. Even without the can, the 3-lug muzzle device is great. You really don't need any kind of muzzle brake because it's just 9mm and it's really not that aggressive to start with. Moving down to our backup iron sights, which are Scalar Works flip-ups. These are their shorter version only because the correct height is still on the way. I had to order them from another site because they are out of stock everywhere. But I love these things. Scalar Works makes some of my favorite mounts, and these are perfect for the setup. When I get the correct height in, they should perfectly lower thirds co-witness with my red dot, which I'll talk about in a second. Next to it, we have a Unity mod button on an HRF ramp, so my light actuation is easy and reliable. The switch is plugged into a Surefire UE tail cap, and the light is my current favorite option from Surefire, which is the Scout Mini Turbo. These are fantastic little lights that throw a very very nice beam, as you can see in the intro. Extremely reliable. I'm a huge fan of these. And I added some goon tape to manage the cables. Now onto the, in my opinion, one of the first super unnecessary accessories, which turned the M-LOK handguard into a quad rail. Honestly, I don't know what gave me this idea, but I personally really like it. I've always been a fan of quad rails, and the MDT metal rails with the built-in QD was absolutely the best option I found to convert this over. I definitely could have went with polymer to save on some weight, but I couldn't find anything that had built-in QDs, and I really liked the design of these overall. I actually just think it looks super cool, and though it's heavier and pretty impractical, I still like it because it's cool. And sometimes you do just do things because they're cool. Attached to the bottom of the quad rail, we have a BCM hand stop, which makes C-clamping a little more comfortable because of how short the build is, and we are putting the QD slot to good use, attaching this Edgar Sherman design sling. The optic is the Trijicon MRO, which I'm a huge fan of so far. There is a glare, which is kind of annoying, but it's only in certain lighting conditions, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Overall, I really like it. I think it's a great red dot. To mount that, we are using ScalarWorks MRO mount, which both looks cool and functions well. Behind that is the other slightly impractical part, but I found it's actually not so impractical after all, the 3x magnifier. Now, yes, you will have to order 2 additional riser plates in order for it to sit at the correct height, and you'll also have to find screws that are the perfect length, but after that, you're good to go. You can see I only have 1 plate in right now because I'm still looking for the proper height screws, but it actually works pretty okay with the stock screws and 1 additional plate. If you want it to line up perfectly though, then you will need a second plate and different screws. I do say this is slightly practical because I was able to close a pretty tight group at 50 yards using the magnifier, which was much harder to do without it. I don't think there's anything wrong adding something that makes you more accurate. If anything, it's nice to just be able to see that far, and I can think of tons of examples why you may need a magnifier. I'm the type of person that says why not have it and not use it, but that's just me. The rest of the upper is untouched, all stock, which it runs perfectly fine, so I can't imagine why you'd want to change anything there. It's all high quality Daniel Defense. But with the lower, I did add a couple upgrades. First one being that Radiant Talon, which I mentioned at the beginning, is 100% worth it. It's absolutely a must do. The stock safety selector that comes with this is a 90-degree throw, and I've never been a fan of those. The trigger, I did upgrade to a Trigger Tech, which so far I'm a huge fan of. I did have a little random issue when I first installed it where the reset was having some issues, but after a little maintenance, it was back up and running, and I've shot it a bunch since with 0 issues at all. So that was a little weird for me, but I'm just going to keep shooting it and I'll let you know if I run into the same issue. I would say the Trigger Tech trigger is a pretty big upgrade compared to the stock trigger. Not saying the stock trigger is bad at all, it's actually pretty good, but I just prefer the weight and the break of the Trigger Tech more. It's definitely easier to close tighter groups at further distances with the Trigger Tech. The last change to the lower was the grip, which again I said would make things feel much better, and it did. I went with the Die-Free Co grip, and so far I'm a huge fan of it. The angle took me a second to get used to, but now it feels really natural, and it's a great option in my opinion. The mags are just stock CZ mags, but I was running a Magpul drum mag, which was awesome to shoot with. You're probably also curious about the Cerakote work, which huge shout out to Culper Precision in Utah, who was able to bring my vision for this build to life with this really nice Cerakote job. He did the handguard, mount, grip, and brace, along with my mags, and I'm super happy with how they turned out. We will also be making these moth mags available soon, so stay tuned for that on the store page of my website. I won't be selling them directly for YouTube's sake, but I will link to where you can buy them. The only other upgrades made were changing the brace out for the SBA4, which is one of my favorites, and adding a burn-proof gear brace strap in Woodland to match the rest of the build. One of the best parts about putting this together is how much it makes me want to go shoot it. For a second, I was getting a little burnt out building ARs, and this refreshed my desire to train and helped me get back to doing what I enjoy the most, which is putting together something which motivates me to grow and get better as a shooter. Overall, I can absolutely recommend the Daniel PCC. I think it's fantastic, and though with a suppressor it's pretty gassy, which is my least favorite part about it, I still think it's so fun to shoot, and I think you would be super happy if you got one. Now, I'm probably only at 1,500 rounds into this gun right now, so keep that in mind, but so far I've had absolutely 0 issues with it. It's been absolutely flawless and amazing. I'll be sure to make an updated video though when I get a higher round count to let you know if I run into anything. I hope this helps you build something that makes you want to head to the range and train insane because the real goal is becoming more prepared to defend and protect innocent life. I have a ton more new builds coming to the channel. I'm also working on some new content for you to enjoy. Let me know what you want to see in the comments. I'll make notes and try my best to help, and I will see you in the next one.